everyone. How is everybody today? Hope you are doing well. Hopefully you are ready to see some fun new nails today. You guys, you know that I don't do well very often with having naked nails, so I got to put something back on these nails. So today I'm going to be showing you some of our new pre-designed tips, and I'm just kind of doing a quick prep on a couple of nails here, and then we'll get everybody a chance to jump in here, and then I'll kind of go through a little bit of prep with you guys and show you how to apply these nails. So I'm going to just prep a few nails to start with here, and let me pull my chat up here, see what you guys are up to, see what you guys are talking about, and then we'll get started. So welcome in, everyone. Somebody says, my nails look healthy. What drill are you using? Well, first of all, I don't like to call it a drill. This is our Young Nails electric file. It is a great tool to use whether you are a pro or a DIYer. It really is a great tool to use. So everything that I'm using today here can be found on our website, youngnails.com. We do have a sale still going on today, and the tips that I'm going to be using today, these are actually on a bundle deal right now, so you can get those. But let's go ahead and just jump right in. And somebody says, I'm not doing well today, so this will cheer me up. I hope this cheers you up, and I hope that you guys get some good education from this today. So I've already gone through and prepped a few nails here. I'm going to just finish prepping the last two nails that I've got on my nail or on my hand here. So just gently pushing back that cuticle. And I did a manicure on myself yesterday, so I really don't have a whole lot of cuticle to clean up or anything there. And then to prep the surface of the nail, I'm going to go back to that electric file that I was using. I've got a medium grit sanding band on here, and I'm working with my electric file at about 5,000 RPMs. And I'm just gently working right up around that cuticle area, doing kind of small circular strokes right up around that cuticle, and then I'm going to just feather that bit all the way through the rest of that natural nail to make sure that I'm creating a little bit of texture, because we are going to be using our full cover tips today, but I'm going to be using our Tip and Jewel Adhesive Gel to put these tips on. And when you're working with a gel, it's a little bit different from just a regular air dry glue. A gel does need that kind of a textured or a tacky surface to adhere to. So that's why I'm just going through and creating a little bit of texture on my nails. I'm not using a lot of pressure with this bit. I'm basically just gliding over the surface of it. So I'm not putting a lot of pressure, just enough to just kind of texture that surface a little bit, and also to break up any surface oils that might be on the nail. And you guys, this nail, I had a little bit of product still left on there from our demo yesterday, so I just want to kind of tap in those areas and remove that extra product. So at this point, my nails are textured. I've broken up the surface oils on them. I am going to dust them off. We're going to give them a quick little dust here, and I like to brush the nails in the direction that the nail grows. So up and down like this, not across, because this is going to help to pull any of that dust out of the cuticle area and down along those sidewalls. So we want to make sure that we're getting that those nails nice and clean and dust free. Then we're going to grab our swipe, and swipe is our cleanser. I'm going to pump a little bit of that onto my manicure brush, and then I'm going to go through with that, and just like I did with the dry brush, I'm going to scrub those nails. What the swipe is going to do, this is going to help to cleanse off any of those last little bits of dust that are on the nails, and it's also going to help to remove any germs, any bacteria, any excess oils that may still be on those nails, and it's going to leave us with a nice clean dry surface. Now, I did have a good amount of that swipe on my brush, so it's taking a little bit longer for these to dry, but you're going to start to see they are going to dry back to that nice clean, dry, chalky look. And that's exactly what we want. Now I do need to wait a little bit longer on this one here, or I think I'm even going to grab one of our lint-free wipes and just dab off some of that excess swipe, just to make sure that the nails are nice and clean and dry before we do our next step, which is protein bond. Protein bond, actually, you guys, you know what? I'm going to wait on my protein bond for just a couple of seconds. I'm going to size out my tips first because I like to size out the tips before I actually get the nails completely prepped so I don't get any dust or anything on my protein bond when I'm doing my sizing. Now I'm going to kind of tell you guys I cheated a little bit here today. I did lay out all of my tips, and the box of tips that I'm using, I've actually already used a bunch of them for some demos in the past. So I've got some of the nails that I've done and used earlier. So right now I don't have a complete full pack. So I did lay out the ones that I do have available, and I've already actually pre-sized the tips that I'm going to use today, but I do want to show you how I did size them out. So I'm just going to show you on these two here. Now the rest of these I've actually customized a little bit. So I'm going to show you how I would size these out. So on this one here, this is going to be for my pointer finger. Now with this one, I want to make sure that the tips fit from side to side. So from one side here all the way over to the other side here. And if they hang off ever so slightly, that's okay. But what you don't want to happen is you don't want them short on the edges. Do you see how that little bit of natural nail is short on the edge? You want to make sure that these tips are covering all the way to that sidewall, because like I was saying, we're going to be using our Tip and Jewel Adhesive Gel, and this is a thicker gel. So this is going to take up some space in between that natural nail and the tip. So we want to make sure that we're not sizing them too small so that when we put them on with that gel, like I said, is going to take up some space and it's going to raise that tip up a little bit. If we size these too small, you're going to have that little bit of a gap on the side. So we want to make sure that we're sizing them so that they're going to fit all the way from one side, fully covering, all the way to the other side, fully covering. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want you guys to see is even though these are pre-designed tips, you can still customize them. So if you look at the cuticle area here, it's a little bit more square than what my natural cuticle area is. Mine is a little bit more rounded. So I'm just going to grab my 180 file buffer. It's a file buffer combo. And I'm going to just go ahead and just kind of reshape that a little bit. So taper in those edges just a little bit so that I can make sure that this tip completely fits right up into my cuticle area without having any of that tip overlaying or touching my actual skin. So just rounding that out a little bit. I'm going to just buff off a little bit of that frayed edge. And then let's go ahead and check this one more time. Now you guys, do you see, this is why I like to wait to put my protein bond on, so that as I'm filing and kind of customizing these, you're going to see I get a little bit of dust on those nails. So I just want to make sure that I've got a nice clean dry surface when I'm putting the tips on. So we're going to wait for our protein bond, but I think that one's going to look much better up into my cuticle area. I do have just a little bit of that frayed edge left. So I want to take that down just really quick. So that one's good to go. I have sized out almost all of the rest of them. I did have the middle finger here that I wanted to size out and show you guys that one on camera as well. So that's also a little bit more squared off on the tip here. So same thing as my pointer finger. I'm going to round out that cuticle a little bit and taper that in just a little bit. So just kind of making sure that these tips are going to actually match the shape of my natural nail. Now you guys, just because they are pre-designed, they're full cover tips, doesn't mean that you can't customize them. You can. You absolutely should be customizing these to make sure that they do fit just right. And I think that one definitely looks a little bit better. I think on this one, I'm actually going to have to pinch that in just a little bit on the edges. It feels like it's just a little bit wide. But like I said, you guys, I'm using half of the set because I've already used some of these on other nails. So I'm just kind of using up what I've got, and it's okay to customize these. It's okay to take them a little bit smaller and get all of the use out of this set that you can. All right, I think we're good there. So we've got all of our nails customized. I kind of cheated, you guys. I pre-customized all of the other ones here. So we've got those ready to go. I am going to give my nails one more quick little cleanse with the swipe, just to make sure if I did get any of that dust on the nails, I can make sure to clean that off. Or if I did touch my nails while I was sizing out those tips, I'm just really making sure that I've got a nice clean dry surface for my product to adhere to. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our protein bond. And let's scooch that out of the way there. So protein bond is going to work as our bonder, and this is what is going to really make the gel stick to the nail. So I'm going to apply one even coat all the way through the nails, and if you feel like you need a little bit more grip, you can go ahead and do 2 coats of the protein bond. Personal preference, I think personally on myself, I do just fine with 1 coat, but I always say 2 coats when I teach, just because I feel like 2 coats is really going to give you the great adhesion. And usually 2 coats is what I do on my clients, just to make sure that they don't have any issues. But again, if you are somebody that you don't have any issues with product adhesion, 1 coat will be just fine. So again, let's do 1 coat all the way through. If you need to do a 2nd coat, go ahead and do a 2nd coat. So just all the way up to that cuticle area. And protein bond is going to work like a double-sided tape. So it's going to stick down to the nails, and then it's going to give that really good sticky surface for our gel to adhere to. All right, are you guys ready for application? I hope you are, because I am. So I did grab my Touch Cure Light, and this is what I'm going to use to basically freeze the tips into place as I apply them. And I'm also going to find my brush and spatula. So this has a spatula on one end, and that's what I'm going to use to scoop up my gel. It also has a little brush on the other end, and I might use that to clean up around the edges if I need to, but for the most part, I'm going to be using that spatula. So I am going to take a good size scoop. Let's start with you guys, normally I start with the pinky, but for some reason today I want to start with the thumb. So let's take a pretty good size scoop of our Tip and Jewel adhesive. And somebody's asking, what was that clear stuff you put on? The first thing that I used was protein bond, and that is our bonder. That's going to help with adhesion. And then the gel that I'm using is our Tip and Jewel Adhesive Gel. And again, you guys, all of these different things can be found on our website, youngnails.com. So make sure to check that out. All right, so I did take a pretty good size scoop of my gel, and I'm actually going to take a quick look to see exactly how far up that tip my gel is going to need to come. So if I look at the back side of that tip, it's gonna adhere to my nail just past that little orange line that we've got on there. So I do want to make sure that I'm getting that gel almost all the way up to that area. So I'm going to press that gel into the well of the tip, and then I'm going to just kind of guide that out to the sides. Now I think I need just a little bit more, so we're going to pick up a little bit bigger scoop there, set that into the well, and I'm going to bring that almost all the way out to the edges, but not exactly all the way out to the edges. I'm going to leave just a tiny little gap of space right along that side, because when I put this tip down onto my nail, the gel is going to squeeze a little bit out to the sides, and I want to make sure that I'm not squeezing any gel off the sides and onto my skin. So that's why I leave a little bit of a gap on those edges. And you notice that I scraped off the rest of that gel into the tip, and I'm going to clean up that back edge so I don't have any gel hanging off that back edge. Now, you guys, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I did move my Jewel adhesive out of the way here, because I'm going to be using my Touch Cure Light to cure this onto my nail. And I want to make sure that I'm not curing my gel in the pot. So always make sure that you are moving that out of the way. Now, as we apply these, what we're going to do, I'm not going to just squish this down flat onto my nail. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start at a kind of a downward angle. I'm going to touch this down to my nail. I'm going to slide it back towards the cuticle, and then I'm going to rock this down. The reason that I touch it down and then slide back and rock is because this way I'm going to keep all of that gel underneath the tip instead of it squeezing out the back. If I were to just set this down flat, a lot of that gel would actually squeeze out the back. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping the product away from my cuticle and not on the skin. Somebody I think was asking, the gel doesn't cure. Okay, so you guys, one other thing that I do want to talk about, because I think you guys are probably going to ask this question. So before I actually get that on the nail, let me show you something. So somebody was asking, is the gel going to cure under the color of my tip? And you guys, if I show you this, I'm going to turn my light on here. So if you take these tips and you hold that up to the end of the light, you can actually see that that light is going to penetrate all the way through the tip, okay? Now that's not the same for all of these tips, all of our press-on nails. If I were to grab, let me grab one of our other boxes of tips here. So if I grab our other collection, let's see, these are the Kaleidoscope Kiss nails. You guys, I absolutely love these, but these are something that I would not adhere with gel, because with these, let me grab those out of the way. With these, they are not translucent enough to allow that light through. So if I turn that light on, you can't, that light, whoops, there we go. That light isn't going to penetrate all the way through that tip to fully cure the gel. So you want to make sure, if you are working with the gel and you're adhering with gel, that you're using really any of our French designs. So any of the tips that have the French designs, those are going to be translucent enough to cure the gel all the way through. If you're using something that is a darker, more solid color, that I would stick to using either the glue, the adhesive glue, or those sticky adhesive tabs, okay? So make sure that you know exactly what you're doing with those, because you don't want to end up with uncured gel on your nails, okay? So I did want to make sure that we talk about that, because that is an important question. So I think whoever that was that asked that, thank you for asking that question. Okay, so let's get back. We're going to take our tip, we're going to start at that downward angle, we're going to set it down, slide it back, and we're going to rock it down. And then I'm going to turn my touch cure light on, and then we'll get that nail secure. Okay, so we're going to, again, touch that down. And you can start to just barely see. I know you can't quite see exactly on camera, but it's going to start to adhere. You're going to be able to see that gel start to adhere. So I'm going to, again, touch that down, slide that back, and then I'm going to rock this tip down. Now I am going to turn on my light so that it's on and it's ready to go. And then I'm going to hold the tip, because this one I actually want to squeeze in a little bit on the sides to make sure everything is adhering completely on the sides. So I'm going to hold that right there, and I'm going to get this right under the light, just enough to secure this to my nail. Okay, now you guys, I know my nail is probably covered up by the chat right now, but I can't move this and cure it at the same time. So I'm going to just cure this here into place real quick for probably about 10 to 20 seconds or so, just enough to set that tip into place. Now I'm not going to fully cure it at this point. Oops, you guys, I got a little bit of gel that squeezed out that edge. This is where that brush is going to come in. If I have that little bit of gel that squeezed out, I'm going to just clean that off of there before I do a full cure. Okay, so, oh, sorry guys, I was off camera there. Okay, so again, at this point, the tip is not fully cured, but it's basically set into place. Okay, we're going to go ahead onto our next nail. We're going to adhere all 5 of our nails with the touch cure light, and then we're going to get this into our full UV LED to do a full cure. Now I do one more quick check on my sizing before I actually get my gel on here. Oh, you guys, I forgot something. Okay, you guys, I'm going to hope that this tip stays on. I got ahead of myself. You guys, one more thing that we need to do. Protein bond. Oh, you guys, I might have to redo this nail a little bit later, but I forgot to apply my protein bond. So when you're working with a gel, I got so excited here, you guys. When you're working with your gel and you're applying your gel, or you're applying the tips with the gel, you want to make sure that you're either creating texture in the well or that you are creating a tacky surface. Because again, the gel doesn't like to stick to a smooth, shiny surface. So that's where our protein bond comes in. I'm going to do one quick coat of our protein bond right in those wells. And this is going to really help to allow that tip and jewel adhesive to adhere to the tip. Oh, you guys, I got so excited to get these nails on and show you these nails that I forgot to put that on there. So make sure that you do either apply a coat of protein bond, or you could go through with your electric file and use that same sanding band that I was using earlier to apply, or to kind of create a little bit of texture in there. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do the same thing again with our next nail. Got a little bit of hold on a second, I have a little bit of dust on my spatula here. All right, so we're gonna grab another scoop of our adhesive. Same thing, we're gonna apply that right into the well of the tip, scrape that through the back edge of the tip, bring that out from side to side, and then I'm gonna scrape the last little bit of gel off of my spatula, move my jar out of the way. Again, I'm going to start at a slight downward angle, connect that adhesive to the nail, slide that back towards the cuticle, and then just gently start to rock the tip down onto the nail, making sure that that cuticle area stays flush down on there. And you guys, because I'm using the tip and jewel adhesive, it does have a really good amount of thickness to it. So you can see I haven't even cured the nail, but it's staying in place. So I can adjust this and I can check and make sure that my tip is nice and straight. I can turn my hand around. I can check the placement of this to make sure everything is where it should be. And then once I have that in place, then I can go ahead and freeze that under our Touch Cure light. So just kind of holding that back edge. Oops, I got a little bit of that gel that squeezed out the back edge there. So again, just freezing this into place for, again, another 10 to 20 seconds or so, making sure that is not going to move. So let's go on to our next one. We'll take our next nail, take another scoop of our adhesive. We're going to set that right into the well of the tip, scrape that back, bring that out close to our edges, but not touching those edges, all the way back to that cuticle area. Scrape off that little bit of excess to make sure that we've got enough gel. I'm going to move my gel out of the way so it doesn't cure under the light. Somebody else is asking again, is there a risk of the gel not curing through? And you guys, I did mention this earlier, but, oh, sorry guys. When I'm using our more sheer nails, all right, you guys, I'm going to answer that question in just a second, but I'm going to tell you what's happening here is when I set that down, a little bit of my gel did squeeze out the back. So all I did, I lifted up that tip, disconnected it, scraped up that little bit of gel that was squeezing out the back, and then I'll kind of reapply that, okay? So you want to make sure that you're not getting that gel squeezing out the back end. Just very gently. And see, there's a little bit that came out there. I want to clean that up. I'm going to just very gently rock this down, making sure everything is adhered. I'm going to turn my light on. I'm not under the light just yet. I just am going to do a quick readjustment there. I think everything is good. Again, I'm going to hold that on there just gently, and then we'll get that under the light to cure. Okay, again, we're just freezing this into place. We're not doing a full cure on this. Now, let me address that question. Actually, you guys have a lot of good questions here. I see somebody else saying that, does it burn when it cures? Nope, you guys, this is actually on me. If this did burn, I would tell you. I would let you know. But I will show you that I'm not right up, let me come back out. I'm not right up underneath the light right through here. I'm leaving about, I would say 5 to 6 inches in between my nail and the light, so that way it slows down that curing. If I had my nail right up underneath that light to cure, then it would have gotten a little bit warm under there, okay? So make sure that you're leaving about 5 to 6 inches or so between the light and the nail, okay? All right, let's get our fourth nail on here. Same thing, we're gonna grab our tip and jewel adhesive, take a good scoop of that. We're going to apply that right in the well, slide that back to our cuticle area, bring that out to the edges, clean that up in the back, and scrape off that last little bit back there. Okay, get that out of the way. I'm going to take that tip, set that right down by my cuticle area, slide it back, rock that down till everything connects. Just going to kind of check my, whoops, got a little bit of product coming out the side here. Again, you guys, if you do have product coming off the sides or back by the cuticle area, Don't panic about it, but do make sure that you clean that off before you cure. You want to make sure that you're not getting any of that product cured onto the skin. So always check and make sure that you're cleaning that off before you get that into the light. Okay, I think we're good there. So let's go ahead and freeze that into place. Whoops, one more time here. And again, you guys, somebody was asking, does the gel cure all the way through? And what I was showing you earlier is with the style of tip that I'm using today, these are our French colored or our French design tips. These do have enough sheerness that allows the light to cure all the way through. So the gel underneath here is going to cure all the way through. If I show you this from the end, and this really is an important thing to understand, because when you're working with these pre-designed tips, you can see again that that light is going to get all the way through. But if we were using one of our more solid opaque designs, this would actually not cure all the way through. So let me grab one of those, because these have more of an opaque back to them, or an opaque color. This is not going to fully cure. The light is not going to get all the way through. So the only style of tips that I would use with the gel would be the ones that I'm using today and any of our other French designs. So any of the French designs that are going to be sheer enough to allow that gel to cure all the way through. So definitely keep that in mind. That's a great question. So those of you that were asking that, thank you for asking that, because that really is important to understand. Now, if you do have the other tips with the other designs, those I would use either the adhesive glue that comes with them, or you can use the adhesive tabs that come with them. So lots of options for you. And you guys, I used to say that using the glue was more of a temporary kind of a service, but did I take the wrong tip here? Hold on a second, you guys. I had an extra nail. I did. I grabbed the wrong tip. Hold on. Let me grab my other one here. But yes, you guys, great questions today. Good things that it really makes me happy when you do ask those kind of questions, because that way I know that you are comprehending what's going on. So that is fantastic. So, all right, so we're going to get our last nail on here. We're going to set that onto the nail, touch that down, slide it back, rock that down onto that nail. Again, you guys, I think I'm a little bit heavy-handed on one side here, because I feel like I'm getting a little bit more adhesive squeezing off that side. So definitely make sure that you're cleaning that up before you cure. Set that nail nice and straight, and then we'll freeze that into place. Now, you guys, I keep saying we're going to freeze this into place, okay? What I mean by that is just using the light here, maybe the touch cure light, for about 10 to 20 seconds or so, just enough to set those nails into place so that they don't move, okay? Once I have all 5 nails set, now I'm going to go back into my full UV LED light, and this is going to go on for 60 seconds. Now, there's not a whole lot I can really show you here in 60 seconds because I've got just one hand here, but you do want to make sure that your nails are fully curing in the light for 60 seconds. So that way, as we cured that gel underneath, now it's actually going to fully cure and adhere that tip and jewel adhesive, okay? So again, you want to make sure that you are fully curing this so that you're not leaving any uncured gel on those nails, right? You guys, a lot of times if people are getting allergic reactions, it's from uncured product or product that is being left on the skin. So make sure that you are fully curing this for that full 60 seconds in the light to make sure that everything cures nice and even. All right, once these do come out, I'm going to grab my 180 file buffer combo again, and we're just going to kind of clean up around the edges if we need to, or kind of check the shaping just to make sure that everything is nice and even. So if you need to, you can grab that 180 file. Let's come a little bit closer here. And I don't know if you guys can see, but sometimes right at that point, sometimes you may have just a little bit of a tag. Yeah, you can kind of see those right there. You have just a little bit of a tag on there, and those can actually those are actually from how the nails are manufactured. So they're in their little forms, they're molded, and they just have that little tag at the end. So just go through, smooth that out. If you need to file anything around the edges, you can file around the edges to kind of clean up that shaping. Just be very careful as you're filing that you're not filing over the surface and filing out that design. That design is just right on the surface, and if you do hit those with your file, it could kind of adjust and take off a little bit of that design. So I generally don't do a whole lot of filing with these. I just go through, make sure, again, if there was any, see that last little bit of gel that did squeeze out, I do want to make sure that I get that cleaned up a little bit. So just cleaning that up, and actually I'm going to grab my nipper. And normally I would say, actually you guys, I'm going to use my older nipper. I would say normally use an older nipper rather than a brand new super sharp one to clean up if you have any of those last little bits of gel. This way you can remove that without dulling your nice sharp nipper, okay? So go ahead and do that if you need to. Clean up your shaping if you need to. If you need to switch over to the buffer side to give a nice smooth edge, you can do that as well. So just going right through, cleaning up those edges. All right, you guys, make sure if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, join our community here, and then let's add a little bit of extra fun to these, you guys, because I mean, these are definitely fun on their own, but let's add a little bit more fun to them. So I'm going to just dust these off real quick. And that little bit, one last little edge here. All right, there we go. Okay, so next thing I'm going to add to these is some of our really cute party or pixel party. I always want to say party pixel, but pixel party decals. And you guys, if you're somebody who doesn't love to do like hand painted art, or maybe if you don't have a steady hand, these are going to be a really great option for you. So we've got our pixel party, and these ones are actually part of a bundle deal that we've got going on right now, but we also have a few other designs too that you can choose from. We've got our glitch mode decals, we've got graffiti pop, and we've got fluffy daydreams. So we've got some really super cute decals for you guys to add into your either your pre-designed tips, or you can add them into your other nail designs. But for today, I think we're going to use, what should we use, you guys? What do you want to see on here? Do you want to see some bows? Do you want to see stars or hearts? Or what do you want to see? Let me know. So what we're going to do is just right over the surface of these, we're going to go ahead and use our decals. And I like to use a really fine tweezer with these. I feel like this is going to help really easily to take them off the paper backing and then to just set them onto the nail. So that's what we're going to use. All right, you guys, somebody says pink bow. You guys want to see the bows? You want to see hearts? You know what? I think I'm liking the hearts today, and I have an idea. So let me I'm going to just grab a pair of scissors here real quick. Sorry guys, I forgot to grab my scissors earlier. All right, so I think I'm going to use our hearts. Now, you guys, let me know. Do you want, we're gonna do the hearts on these two nails. Do we want to do matchy-matchy with the blue hearts, or do we want to add a little extra color pop with the pink hearts? You guys let me know in the chat. Blue or pink? Boys or girls? No. All right, you guys, let's see. I feel like I want to do the pink just because we've got pink on our nail over here, and I think that pink is going to help to kind of tie our set together. So I think we're going to do pink. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in here. I'm going to cut all the way across to our hearts, and just going to cut straight down. Now you could use this whole design. You could just peel this whole design off as one. You can kind of see the little outline of it. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fold that down. I think I'm going to use one heart on one nail and then two hearts on another nail. So I just kind of snipped right through that. Somebody says not pink. You guys, not pink? All right, you want to see blue? Okay, we'll do blue. Blue, no blue. All right, you guys, there's no winning here. I've already cut these, so we're going to use the pink hearts. If you guys want to use the blue hearts, you can use the blue hearts. But I'm going to grab that top piece there, and I'm just going to grab the edge of it with my tweezer. This one, let's just set, actually, you know what? I'm gonna trim off just a tiny little bit. I see a little bit of that black edge on there. Whoa, you guys, I'm getting shaky. Uh-oh, lost my little heart here. Yeah, we might have to do the blue. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna take this one, take that little piece of fuzz off there. I'm gonna set that right down in the middle. So right there in the middle. And maybe I'll trim off that little piece that was hanging off the edge. Just snip that off. And then I'm gonna just use my thumb here, really secure that down onto the nail. And you guys, these decals are super, super thin. It's like you can't even barely tell that it's on there, okay? So just really secure that on there. So we've got our cute little heart right in the middle. And then let's take those other two, and we'll grab those here. Just kind of peeling those off with my nipper. And let's add those right up into the center here. And again, we're going to secure that down. Just use your thumb, secure that right down. You guys, if you have like a what do they call it? A silicone tool or anything, you could definitely use that as well. But I think the thumb, you're using your fingers works just fine too. Okay, now just making sure that I don't have any dust on these. Oh my gosh, you guys, how cute are those? Are you guys loving them? Do you want to see a couple more? Should I put a couple more designs on here? Or should we just leave them like that? Maybe one more? What do you think? One more? You guys, somebody wanted to see the bows. So let's do the bows. Let's see. Should we do maybe pink or yellow? I think maybe we'll do the bow on the thumb. So should we do pink on the thumb? Or maybe yellow. Let's do yellow. I think I like the yellow. All right, so let's grab that yellow bow, peel that up again. Should we tuck that right there on the free edge? Yeah, maybe, whoops, I just popped off the edge of it. Maybe back a little bit farther. Maybe right there. We'll just put it right there. Okay, we're gonna just squish that right down on there, seal that right down on there. And again, you guys, these are so super thin, I can barely even feel them on there. Okay, but you do want to seal these. So what I'm going to use today is just our Young Nails top coat. And you guys, this is just an air dry top coat. Ooh, do you guys want to see one more thing? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Do you want to see one more cute little thing that I can add in? Or do you just like them how they are? Let me know in the chat. But in the meantime, I'm going to just seal in these with our top coat. And Miranda says she subscribed. Thank you so much. Any of those of you that have subscribed, thank you guys. Thank you, thank you. We appreciate you so much. So thank you for subscribing. Join our community. We love to see that you guys are joining our community and being part of the fun here. You guys want to see more? No? Yeah? Okay. Well, let me go ahead and just top coat these really quick. And usually with these decals, one top coat is enough. But if you maybe still feel just a tiny little bit more texture to it, you could add in a second coat of that top coat. But usually one is enough, okay? And I will tell you guys that this top coat dries super fast, especially when we're just doing one coat of it over the nails. It's going to dry probably within a couple of minutes. So go ahead and top coat those. And you guys, some of you were saying that yes, you want a little bit of extra on there. All right, let's do just a little bit of extra sparkle. You guys, I haven't used these a whole lot in my demos here, so I'm excited to use them. And these are our Prism polishes, and I'm going to tell you that they only come in the Prism kit that's on our website right now. So these are super sparkly, I'm not going to say a top coat because I would still use a top coat over them. But they're absolutely gorgeous glitters. And do you guys want to see silver or do you want to see pink on the nails today? Let me know in the chat. Silver or pink? I mean, I guess we could do both, but I think we'll just do one or the other. So maybe we'll add a glitter to this nail right here. So what do you guys want to see on this one? Silver or pink on that one? But one other thing, I'm starting to see just barely the outline of my decal on this one. So I think I am going to add one more coat of top coat just to really make sure that that one is sealed while you guys are voting. Or not really voting, but just letting me know in the chat there what color you want to see. And I think you guys are saying a lot of pinks. You guys want to see the pink. All right, so I think we'll go ahead and do the pink. Let's do the pink on there. Okay, so again, these are just an air dry polish. So you don't have to wait a whole long time. I would say a minute or two in between coats is really all you need. But let's go ahead and just polish on one super, super sparkly. Oh my gosh, I love it, you guys. I know it doesn't do it near the justice on camera, but you guys, that is super sparkly, super pretty. Oh, you guys, I'm telling you, I wish it did more. I wish it did it justice, but doesn't quite do it justice on camera, but is an absolute beautiful sparkle to our nail. So you can add all of these fun different things to spice up your pre-designed tips, add a little bit of fun to them, and just create your own designs. So I'm going to do one more coat of top coat on these three nails here. This one doesn't really need a top coat, but if you want to add a top coat, you are definitely welcome to do that. But in the meantime, you guys, those of you that know what time it is, you know what time it is and you know what to do. If you're new to our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and then let's start our top coat chant in the chat. And all that is just typing in top coat, top coat, top coat while I finish up our nails. So just a really quick and easy set for you guys today. Again, our twice as bright nails, that's the ones that we applied today. These are on a bundle deal for you guys on the website. We do have a sale continuing on through 11:59 p.m. Pacific time tonight. So make sure to check that out. I believe it is free shipping with any purchase. Usually, oh, I already did my top coat on that one. So usually we offer free shipping over $50, but for our sale, it's free shipping with any purchase. So make sure to check out the deals on the website. You guys, also one other thing is that we do have a full Zoom class, a webinar for you guys. If you are interested, you can also purchase that on our website as well. So we have a class coming up September, I think it's September 8th, on how to apply full cover tips, just like I showed you guys today. So you can get all of your questions answered. If you have, if you need help with your technique, absolutely, we will be teaching that in the class. So definitely check that out on the website as well. Now, one last thing before we sign off for the day, I'm going to add a little bit of our cuticle oil to our nails. Obviously, you guys, you can see my cuticles are very dry. So I'm just going to add a little bit of oil right around each cuticle and just hydrate everything. Keep all of my cuticles nice and hydrated and healthy, and keep those hangnails at bay. So just kind of massaging that in right around there. And again, you guys, thank you for joining us today. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, join our community. We have over 3,000 videos of free education for you guys here on our channel. So make sure to check those out. Make sure to jump over to our website and check out our sale that we have going on. And I will see you guys back next time. Thanks, everybody.